WOCA. Ocala.
It is time to talk golf. Your host today is Jim Beckett. He's your host every time we do this show. The show is called Let's Talk Golf, and if you have a golf question, or maybe you just want to contribute to the conversation that gets started somehow, Jim is here to engage in that conversation or answer your question. He is here as a representative of the golf community. I guess that's an odd way of saying that, isn't it? He's a PGA professional and the golf college founder, and he's the only golf instructor I've ever had and Robin has ever had, so helped us greatly. John Travolta can have anybody in the world, and he also chooses Jim Beckett to learn from, so we'll do a little bit of name dropping with a celebrity right there. And the phone number right now to call Jim on the air is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, 622-9622. Good morning, Jim. How you doing?
Good morning. What a great morning for golf.
Is it? No.
Well, what happens when it rains like this is you have two kinds of golfers. The blood and guts golfer learns to hold the club securely where it won't slip with the rain.
Okay.
And wear appropriate rain attire and then take care of the course. And the smart golfer goes in and has lunch.
Oh, that's kind of funny. Yeah. I didn't know where you were going with that. Okay.
But this is great for the grass.
But there's no lightning involved in this. So
no, this is the kind of rain that will soak in and really do some good. The hard rains, too much wash it off. This will be a welcome off day for all the golf courses, and all the people have nice yards.
So in the work that you do, I mean, is there much interaction with you and the groundskeeper, or do we call him a groundskeeper?
Well, Darren, or my boss, was the superintendent of the golf course prior to being the general manager. So he has a superintendent that does the day-to-day things, but he's still the overseer. That's why our golf course is so good, and ours is one of the best in the area.
And grass is essential. Knowledge of how to take care of grass must be essential.
Yeah, and it's pre-maintenance, not post-maintenance. Once you let it go, people have had yards let it go. They find out it's a lot harder to get it back. And once you have it in a healthy condition, it's a procedural thing, and it's pre-maintenance. And if you do that, it's really nice, and the golfers will love it. And sometimes the golf courses, cut corners a little bit for the bean counters, the money, what have you. But it always bites you back. There's no shortcut.
Well, that's the way it is in life, right?
Yeah, you got to take care of it. And it's one of the primary things that people will pick a certain course to play. They'll even sacrifice a little more greens fee if the course is in great condition, because then you've got a 4 to 4.5 hour experience that's all pleasant on a manicured piece of turf, and you usually play better when the golf course is good.
So what is the etiquette the etiquette associated with calling in and saying, look, it's raining, I don't want to play today, even though I reserved a slot at tee time?
Well, a day like today, when it's obvious, not so, but we have people call in suspecting that it might rain, and we appreciate that, because there's others who'll come and wait till it rains before they don't play. And many times in Florida, they say rain and we don't get it. I mean, it's pockets, obviously. So that's always appreciated when somebody else can buy the time, because it's money.
So.
The ones that don't call in, that's actually what runs the price up. It's just like everything costs. But each tee time has a value. If you multiply whatever the green fee is by 4. So it's time. You're selling time per se. So it's always appreciated to get a call either way.
Yeah, that's true. You are selling
I'm sure
time.
This morning they didn't get many calls, because it's obvious that the golf course, when it gets this saturated, if you played on it, you would damage it.
Oh, really? So
the carts would
so is the restaurant filled?
The restaurant, I wasn't in yet this morning. I came up here early. Sometimes, especially if there's something good on TV, people would rather have a drink at the bar and watch our TV than watch someone at home, and others the other way around.
Yeah,
so you just never know.
So speaking of etiquette and rain, what if you're playing a game nice and sunny, and then around the 7th hole, here comes a downpour? Are you allowed to stop for a while and go to the restaurant until it passes and then go back?
Absolutely. That's an option. And most courses offer a rain check. So that if you think it's going to be, if you get wet or you decide you don't want to play anymore after the rain came, they will give you, if you played less than 3 holes, they'll give you a full 18-hole rain check. And if you played more than such a number of holes, they'll give you a 9-hole rain check, because it costs, obviously, to do that. So they try to be as fair as possible. But we've had many people come in the summertime and want a rain check when it was too sunny. So we have actually given out sun checks.
Really? Too sunny?
Well, a little hot.
Now, do you always have to start on the first hole? And this is kind of stemming from the question of stopping in the middle. I mean, are you allowed to say I'm going to start on the 9th hole today?
No.
No. Okay.
The reason not is just like traffic on the road. Once everybody starts at the same place, they're all in file.
Yeah.
So, a lot of courses nowadays, because a lot of golfers prefer to play in the morning. They think it's cooler. Sometimes it's really not, but they think it is. So a lot of courses do something called a shotgun start. That means all 18 holes are filled at the same time. So you might start on hole number 4. That's where you would finish. We did that in your tournament 2 years ago. Right. So that gets more people on the course early and gets them off at the same time. So sometimes the person running the restaurant likes that, because you'll get the whole mob in all at once, and other people running the restaurant rather than come in, a little at a time. So sometimes you'll have your lunch all pre-prepared with several choices, so that they can come in. And a lot of people who play in the small groups would like to come in together and the converse about who did what on the round and what have you, and do the socializing part.
Yeah, so it sounds like, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like it's the only sport where food is actually a part of the game. It's almost every single time we talk about golf, there's always that food at the end.
Tends to be. Well, you are expending some energy. Usually, if it's warm, you're perspiring a little bit. So, having a beverage and having something while you're there.
Well, I'm sure the kids shooting hoops on the city basketball courts, I'm sure they're getting a hot dog afterwards. But
yeah, so it's just convenient. Yeah. Sometimes the guys more than the gals. Well, even the gals, when they have their groups, they go a little more formal. They'll have planned lunches.
Well, that's the way women are.
With a little more exotic food and desserts and so forth. And so the ones that do that, it's a personal experience. It's like an outing.
It sounds like a fun way to spend a day.
It can be.
Which is probably the way, I mean, that's what I get from you.
That's where the country club concept came from. Originally, we had more country clubs and less public courses a long time ago. And so, you'd show up at your club. If you were a businessman, you might have a little impromptu business meeting with whoever you invited out to play. Then you go play golf, and you come in and have a nice lunch and finish up your business talk. And it's done in an environment that's far better than an office.
Do you know, you're enabling me to recall a part of my younger days that I almost forgot about. I actually used to fill the vending machine at a golf course. And I forgot all about that till we were just talking.
And it got used heavily, I bet.
It got used heavily, and what I'm remembering is a mouse that had died in the vending machine. I remember opening it up and saying, "Whoa, there's a bad smell in this thing."
Well, not all golf courses allow mouses to play, but some will.
Well, you know where it was? Do you know Rainbow Springs, the state park?
I do.
I don't know if there's a golf course over there anymore, but
that area is full of golf courses.
Is there one?
Yeah,
because there used to be. Now, it used to be like Highway 41.
They built more.
Let's see, Highway 40 was north-south, right? So on the east side is the Silver Springs. Right. On the west side was the golf course. And I had to go over there. So most of my work was really at Rainbow Springs.
Right.
And I filled those vending machines. Is what the bulk of my job was. But there was one vending machine at the golf course that I used to have to go over there and fill.
It's amazing the history of vending machines. That's a business that's been around an awful long time, and it doesn't seem to be declining that much. Maybe there's less places, but where there are vending machines, they do very well.
And what's sold in a vending machine nowadays is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So sticking to the golf theme, are there vending machines that vend tees or balls or anything like that?
I have seen that,
really?
Especially at smaller public courses where they don't justify having formal pro shop.
Well, I know at a driving range, I used to go with my son to a driving range, and they had a vending machine for the balls. You got this big bucket, you put in $1, and it gave you a whole bunch of balls.
A lot of times, if a place has enough volume, they have machines like down where I'm at in the Villages. There's a driving range run by the Elks Club. They pick up the balls with the machines outside the building where they're kept and where you purchase the balls. They pour the balls into a hopper. The balls are washed and then goes inside the building into the basket, so you're getting clean golf balls every time. And some places don't wash them all the time. So they eliminate people. So there they can have one person distributing and one person picking up balls. Two people can run the whole range, and they have about 70 hitting slots. And sometimes you have to wait for a place.
Wow, that's good business,
their balls are a little cheaper. They bought better balls. A lot of times at a driving range, you buy a bucket of 60 balls. 15 of them are so worn out they're not worth hitting.
Yeah, right.
Another 40 of them are okay, and you might have 20 that are in really good shape. So a lot of golfers will take the 20 best ones to hit their woods, the mediocre ones to hit their irons, and they'll just hit little chip shots with the bad ones. So
this
place has all good balls. They're all good.
So if a driving range is the business as opposed to a driving range at a golf course,
correct.
Obviously, they're going to charge. Does the driving range at a golf course normally charge just for driving?
Sometimes more.
Oh, sometimes more.
I don't know why, but they do. A lot of times, if a person has time, and in this day and age, we have what we call turnpike golfers, or door slammers, trunk slammers. They just drive up, get the clubs out, and go to the first tee and start hitting. All professional golfers at all 9 tours around the entire world always warm up for a variety of reasons. One, they'll usually strike the ball better. Two is no matter what your age is, you're moving a lot of parts of your body. So a little bit of a warm-up kind of gets your muscles a little softer, a little warmer. So you'll actually swing better, no matter what kind of physical condition you're in. Here in Florida, all of us should do that because most of us are more than 39 years old who play golf.
Yeah, right.
Or had the funds to do it. In the Villages, a guy told me yesterday he took a lesson. He says, I've cut my golf back. I only play 4 times a week now. I said, what did you play before? He said, well, I tried to play 8 times. Wow. One day I'd play 2 rounds, and the other 6 days I'd play 1 round.
Oh, my goodness.
So there you go.
Wow. Well, that's a guy who loves golf. All right, let's go to the phone. Jim Beckett again is your host. This is called Let's Talk Golf. And before we wrap it up, you'll be able to hear Jim tell you a way to get a hold of him by phone or some other way. Good morning. You're on the air with Jim Beckett.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Beckett.
How are you?
Oh, very good. I'm trying to stay dry, but I'm loving to see the rain, even if it's going to wreck the golf a little bit. But we need the rain so bad here.
We sure do.
Yeah. Say, a question about on the pro circuit, how many officials actually officiate the tournament? Is there like 2, 3 per hole, or how does that work?
No, if it's on the PGA Tour, they have a team that goes in, and they, because of the carts, and the whole cost down a little bit, there will be anywhere from as little as 3 or 4 up to maybe 6, and that's going to vary from tournament to tournament a little bit. At the majors, they're going to have more people, at regular tournaments. I don't know exactly what the team number is, but it's not a great number of people because they can get to a hole fairly quick with the carts.
Yeah.
They might have 3 per 9 maybe, so they only are dealing with 3 holes each.
Yeah. Are those paid positions?
Yes, they are.
They are. You have to be a member of the Golfers Association, right?
I'm not exactly sure what the requirements are. I know one requirement is being a complete, knowledgeable expert on the rules, because that's what they're called for more than anything else. And quite frankly, the rules are pretty complicated nowadays.
Yeah.
When I first started playing golf, the rule book was about 10 pages, and now it's about 150 pages.
Right. The rules between here and Europe, are they fairly similar, or is there quite a lot of difference?
Between here and where?
Europe, overseas.
Well, the RNA, Royal and Ancient, in England, and the USGA used to work a little bit independent of one another, and they came to the idea that they thought it would best if they worked jointly. So now they work jointly together, and the only reason you might have some slight changes in the rules because the golf courses over in Europe, some of them, especially the original ones, the way golf was meant to be, rather than our pristine courses, they might have a few little wrinkles that happen because of that condition. And here in our country, because we have the golf courses so manicured, there may be a couple of things specifically because of the golf courses, the way it was built, the way it was designed, and how it's maintained. But other than that, they are in agreement, and they jointly agree on the rules that they make, such as the long putter thing we're hearing about now.
Yeah. Another quick question. We're speaking of putting. If during the tournament the golfer, the putter, is on the green and he has a real long putting shot, can he have his caddy reset the flag in the hole?
You mean tend the flag?
Yes.
Well, the rule on the flag is the flag, if you're off the green, is not in play. In other words, if you hit it, no big deal.
Right.
If you're on the green, the flag is your responsibility, and if you hit the flag, it is a penalty.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, the flag's considered what we call hot. In other words, the flag's in play.
Yeah. Well, in other words, the caddy could stand there, and as the ball's approaching the hole, he lifts the pole out of the hole, right? He
does, and more than once has the caddy. The reason he has that, a couple of reasons he has that pole tilted, I don't like that myself. They stand away from the hole because every footprint on the pristine greens could make a little depression. But the other reason is he makes sure that pole or the flagstick doesn't stick in the little container it goes into.
Ooh.
And I have seen that happen. Well, the caddy was holding the flagstick.
Yeah.
The ball gets near the hole, looks like it's going to go in. He starts to take it out, and there's a little corrosion or what have you, or some sand, and he couldn't get it out in time, and it hit the pole.
Oh, boy.
So it's a penalty.
What would the penalty circumference, I mean, does he have to take a penalty shot? Or
I believe that's a one penalty shot.
Yeah. And the ball stays where it landed, though.
Stays where it landed, correct. If it had gone in the hole, it would stay in the hole, too. But normally, most often, unless it's going in very slow, it's going to bounce out of the hole.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, and that doesn't leave the golfer and the caddy in a very good relationship when that happens.
Exactly. Okay, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yeah.
There was a play on the news, I guess it was last week, and the golf ball, it was a professional thing. It went into the rough just on the edge of the green, right? And then it rolled all the way without anybody touching it right into the hole. Did you see that?
I did.
Well, what happened there? Was it wind?
I believe
mind over matter.
I believe there's an investigation to find out if that ball is radio controlled. I'm only kidding.
Yeah.
It's just luck of the draw. I mean,
just happened. It must have been a hill. It must have been a slight hill or something.
A lot of the newer golf courses and a lot of the existing golf courses, there's a lot of undulation. In other words, there's humps and mounds and things, and the Masters is a classic example. Most people see the Masters on television, which I believe is the #1 tournament in the world.
And who is the
It doesn't look undulating, but if you ever go there, you can't believe what a hilly course it is, and the greens aren't level. I mean, there's a lot of very slopes and mounds and what have you.
This one must have been.
So when you have that what's called course knowledge, you might hit away from the hole knowing that the gravity and the tilt of the green and the mounds are going to pull it toward the hole.
Yeah, it would make sense. And if this guy did that, then he's a genius.
Well, going in the hole is like a hole-in-one. Going in the hole is pure luck. What skill is hitting it well enough to give it a chance to go in the hole. You got to get it up on the green.
But for those who didn't see it, I mean, how far away was that ball? It had to have been.
It was hard to
10 yards,
exactly.
maybe? Is it
at least that, yeah.
Okay, and it was in the rough, so you wouldn't think. I mean, it wasn't deep in, right? But it was enough rough to kind of hold it in place. You would think.
You would think. He got the, that's called rub of the green. He got a good bounce.
And who was that? Do you know?
I don't remember. I did see. I was just walking through my living room when that was on,
right.
And my granddaughter actually was watching. She said, "Granddad, look at this." Well, they re-showed.
How old is she?
She's 9.
Oh wow. Well, that's the kind of thing that even non-golfers are going to point out to their friends. Look at this shot right here.
Television really masks what the real conditions are. I mean, it tends to flatten things out.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it does. Yeah.
They've talked about that a lot. How could they show that where the viewer sees just how undulating it is? Well, The golfer knows because they're aiming away from the hole and waiting as the ball decelerates or goes slower. That's when all the curve takes place.
So, in order to know that in advance, do you walk the course before you ever play it?
The professionals have the chart of the course.
Oh, okay.
And their caddy walks the course. And many times in a practice round, what the golfer will do is they will go to several different positions during the round and see how the ball putts on the left half, right half,
Wow.
back half, front half. They have an idea what's going to happen ahead of time.
A little bit of homework could be the difference between winning and losing then.
On the PGA Tour, or all the tours, I think now, that is a major part of why they play well. If you and I go play and we just play in the local course someplace, and maybe we haven't played it in a year, we're playing from memory, and we're just trying to get the ball up on the green anyway. But they're good enough that they want to know what happens when they're out of control. And what happens is when the ball loses speed, it's going to go to gravity. In skiing, they call that the slope. And a better way of thinking of it in the golf course is if we took a garden hose up on a green and sprayed water on it, the water would go to the lowest point. Well, the golf ball is going to go to the lowest point of gravity, same way. So if the ball is traveling with a little pace, the inertia won't let it curve. But as it slows down, it's going to go to the bottom of gravity.
I have an idea.
Okay.
I have an idea on how TV can illustrate that the ground is, what do you call it, undulating?
Undulating.
Okay. When my son used to, he probably still does this, but he's an adult and lives in his own house now, but I used to watch him play these golf games on his video game.
Correct.
And there was a thing you could press, a button you could press, and instead of being green, it would be a grid of lines.
A grid, right.
And you could see the little fluctuations in the grass. In football on TV and in NASCAR on TV, they have these computer-generated lines that look like they're really on the field or on the car, right?
Right.
But they're not really there. It's just on your TV screen. So they could do that. They could put some kind of a grid.
I'm surprised they haven't done that because on my simulator, I have that.
You have the same thing.
Yep.
So they could do that on the broadcast.
And I'm sort of surprised they haven't because that's not a real costly technology. It's pretty simple to do. I'm surprised they haven't.
Need to write
Maybe we should call in. Say, look.
You know what? Now that we've said it, it'll happen.
Probably.
And we'll be able to say, what was our idea?
When I got my first simulator and saw the grids when you played, the courses on the simulator, I'm thinking, why in the world they don't do that on the television broadcast? I don't know.
Yeah, because then you would understand better that shot that we were just talking about, which looked like voodoo or something.
And all golfers would want to know that. I mean, that would be, there's a lot of things they could do on TV that the golfers would like to know something other than the same old stuff they keep saying over and over. The announcers, the better announcers are actually golfers. Announcers meaning they give you golf information.
Right,
because they've been there. They've done that.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say about. They say that radio like a radio football game is better than a TV football game because the announcers have to describe everything.
Requires somebody good as you.
No, not me. Not when it comes to sports.
Well, no, but you see, you do this well. People seem to think like they know you because of your personality and how you handle the mic for radio.
Well, I appreciate that. Well, I think what I do. I don't know how that applies to sports, but I mean I try to be descriptive.
You're a radio artist. You make a picture out of words. It's great.
And we looked at the clock I just looked at the clock and
it's amazing. Isn't it?
I started you late anyway because I wanted to talk about the sandbags. So.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to pick some of those up, I think.
You might need some.
You know why we're going to do it? We're a little low in sand in some of our sand traps.
Yeah, I was thinking you could probably use some sand. you can just go around town, you get 10 each. Every place you go, you have 10 free sandbags. You can refill the sand traps.
Right.
Well, let me start this beautiful music that your show is known for, and while I do that, you tell us your phone number. How do we get a hold of you?
Okay, my cell phone's the best to get a hold of me. It's area code 352-470-3876. And if you got a question or want some help or want to find out about what I do at the golf college, give me a call.
Learn how to golf.
Learn how to golf.
Learn how to golf better. Learn how to have more fun.
Learn to have more fun. All right.
take it all in stride, right?
Absolutely.
That guy who did it 8 times a week, he must have just did it for fun.
It was work. It was absolutely work.
Really?
Yeah.
See, if I would do it that much, it'd have to be fun.
I wouldn't be able to fit that in. I've got other things I do.
I know. Well, that's what he did. Jim, always good to see you. Be careful driving home. This looks like nasty stuff out there.
I will definitely do that.
All right. Thank you, Jim. We'll take a little break. We'll be right back.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. Wear it, Florida. A tornado watch is in effect until 11 this morning. A tropical storm warning is in effect for Flagler and Marion counties. A flood watch is in effect through tonight. Tropical storm Andrea will impact the area today with some gusty winds and heavy rain and flooding downpours, high 78 to 84. Tonight, periods of rain, some of it heavy, a thunderstorm early and remaining muggy late tonight.